Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to report a few things first, very briefly. First of all, regarding Japan's new restoration regarding International Nuclear Event Scale, INES. As you know, this is the voluntary restoration system for the severeness of the accident in nuclear field. Actually, Japanese government registered to IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, that Japan would like to increase the level of INES of this Fukushima #1 site from level 4 to level 5. Previously, the Japanese government registered as level 4 based on the reason that the fuel was somehow damaged. But we collected data such as monitoring of radioactivity and did detailed analysis, and we found that more than 3% of nuclear fuel of those plants, which are listed in the document, have been damaged, severely damaged, and the radioactive materials have been thrown out from the site to the outside, and therefore we increase the level of the accident regarding INES. And as you know, this is the temporary evaluation of the severeness of accident. Therefore, we will continuously review the severeness of accident, and we will review and according to the development of the accident. That's the first point. Second point, yesterday and today, our police and defense, self-defense force, and Tokyo Metropolitan Fire Department's hyper rescue group, those entities went to the Fukushima #1 site and through pressurized water to Fukushima Unit 3, Fukushima #1 site Unit 3. And it is too early to evaluate the result, but we think that the water was duly delivered to the inside of the Unit 3. And we hope that that will make a good result regarding the lowering temperature of the spent fuel in Unit 3. And based on the water and that the spent fuel of Unit 3 will be duly covered by the water thrown by those three groups. And some important but very specific development reports from yesterday, and that those were I have two. The first one is we found water in spent fuel pool of Unit 4. Yesterday I told that there were two opinions, that there is a water, and on the other hand, the other opinion says that the pool is empty. But we found from the video captured from the seaside, from the helicopter, we found that there is water in the spent fuel pool of Unit 4. Therefore, we concentrated our effort to introduce water to the Unit 3, as I said earlier. And they have the number one site of Fukushima nuclear power has a common pool of spent fuel. And we found that the common spent fuel, common pool of spent fuel is has been maintained as in appropriate way. So, and there is plenty of water, which is enough to cover the spent fuel rods in the pool, common pool, not the individual pool for the individual unit. And last thing I would like to tell you is in parallel with those efforts to introduce water to the plant, especially spent fuel pool, TEPCO has been making maximum effort to reconstruct the power line, outside power line, from Tohoku Electric's transmission line to the Fukushima number one plant site. And they already brought lines, healthy lines from Tohoku Electric's transmission line to the site. And their TEPCO's priority is to introduce power line, especially to number 2 plant, Unit 2 plant, because Unit 2 has still good shape of building so it's not easy to introduce water from outside. So especially number 2, Unit 2 needs recovery of electricity to cool the spent fuel pool. So, and within 2 days, by 19th, not 2 days, but by 19th, tomorrow, they will. They hope that TEPCO hopes that they can finalize the power delivery from to those 2 plants, Unit 1 and Unit 2. And regarding Unit 3 and Unit 4, TEPCO already brought line, healthy line from Tohoku Electric Power's transmission line to the site, and they are aiming at finalizing the power line from to Unit 3 and 4 by March 20th. Regarding 5th and 6th unit, as I said yesterday, there is a surviving diesel powered diesel generator, and that diesel generator is originally for number 6 unit, but that electricity can be used by also Unit 5. So although TEPCO has making maximum effort to recover transmission line from Tohoku Electric Company's large high voltage transmission line, the necessity of introducing power is less prioritized compared with other 4 plants. That's all for my report today. I'd like to hand the microphone to Mr. Kato.
Thank you, Mr. Nishiyama. Okay, now today I'd like to report to you 3 things. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing is that we opened the telephone line to answer any concern of local population around the Fukushima nuclear power plants. We assume they may have concern about their health from radiation. So we opened the line, and experts in that area, in that field, are going to answer for their concern. And we opened the line yesterday afternoon, and up to 6 p.m. today, the line responded to more than 450 inquiries. And we are going to expand the capacity of that telephone line. And the second thing is the monitoring. As I explained yesterday, we are now conducting 2 kinds of radiation monitoring. The first one is the monitoring around the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. That is the result is in the handout, which you may have, this one. And this paper summarizes the result which we receive up to 1 p.m. today. But now we have got additional data this afternoon. And the latest version of this result will be in our website in a few hours. So every day we are supplying this kind of information in our website 4 times a day. And the second kind of monitoring, that is the monitoring all over the Japan, and we asked every prefecture to survey gamma ray dose rate in a place in every prefecture. And also the result of that survey is up in our website, both in Japanese and English. And although this time I didn't distribute the result of that survey in the hard copy, but you may get it in our website. Yes, gamma ray. And the third point is the additional components for the radiation monitoring all over the Japan. As I said, we asked up to now we asked every prefecture to report us gamma ray rate, but we made additional request to every prefecture today. We asked them to report tap water, radiation analysis of tap water, and forward. And the frequency is every day. So every prefecture are going to make radiological analysis of tap water sample and fall water sample every day. And also, the result of this survey will be published every day to the mass media and through our website. So I think that's I report to you today. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Noriyuki Shikata from Prime Minister's office. I think most of you have not heard what the Prime Minister mentioned just 20 minutes or so ago at the Prime Minister's office. And I would like to just give you some of the points that he made in front of the press at the Prime Minister's office. It's been a week since the quake hit, and he extended his condolences to those who passed away, and also with their families who are missing. And he showed sincere respect for those people who have suffered from the damage during the last 1 week, and in spite of that, they behaved or responded to the crisis very calmly, and also overcoming this critical situation with their families and unity among people. And he said that we are facing two major problems in Japan. One is the issue of the problems brought about by gigantic quakes and tsunami, and the other one is the major nuclear incidents taking place brought about those quakes and tsunami. As for rescue activities, there are many the difficulties and some confusions on sites, but gradually assistance goods are brought to the local communities, and we have to work on reconstruction of their lives. And he is convinced that we would overcome these challenges and realize Japan's reconstruction. At the same time, these nuclear incidents are something that we cannot forget about, and in order to overcome the crisis, TEPCO, self-defense forces, police, and firefighters, they are risking their lives virtually, and he himself will make his utmost efforts in order to overcome these challenges, and he is convinced that with the cooperation of the public, will be able to overcome this crisis. And he also extended his heartfelt appreciation for the offer of assistance from 117 countries and regions and 29 international organizations. And this is the worst crisis since the end of the World War. And given in light of the fact that the global community is so kindly offering assistance, we cannot give up. And why don't we try to make progress with firm determination? And he again extended his condolences and also asking people who are evacuated to cope with this difficult situation. And the government is preparing for not only food and blankets, but also creating environment for more comfortable life. And please take care of yourselves and please hang on. And this is the crisis facing us. And as the Japanese, we are faced with the challenges. And this is something that we could overcome, and we together we would realize recreation of Japan. And we would like to take the next steps toward reconstruction. So this is the kind of message that he was sending. Thank you.
Just for your information, the third speaker is Mr. Noriyuki Shikata, Deputy Cabinet Secretary for Public Relations. Now, shall we go into the Q&A session? And we will receive questions only from the foreign press. Would you please raise your hand, and when recognized, please wait till you get this microphone and give us your name and affiliation, and tell us who you want to ask before you ask just one question each time, all right?
Yes, Mr. Nishiyama, thank you once again for coming. When firefighters battle a fire, they often refer to it as being under control or out of control, and they refer to making progress towards bringing it under control, or report that it is spreading out of control. Following that analogy, what is the situation at Fukushima? Is it out of control? Are you making progress towards bringing it under control?
本日も再び、こちらに来ていただいたことに感謝いたします。で、通常、消防士が火と戦っている際によく使われる表現がコントロール下にあるとか、あるいはまだコントロールするには至ってないとか、あるいはそれに向かって前進しているとか、あるいはその火が広がりつつある、あるいはそのコントロールの及ばないとかいう言い方をするんですけれども、福島の場合は今そういう表現の仕方で言うとどういう状況なんでしょうか。すなわちアウトオフコントロールが及んでいないのか、それともコントロールするに向かって、前進が見られるのか、どういう状況に今あるんでしょうか。
今の状況は、特にこの放水のオペレーションの関係で言うと、見えない火を相手にした戦いなので、今言えることは悪くはなっていない、広がってはいないけれども、 アンダーコントロールということに言えるのかどうかは、もう少し、この結果を見ないといけないという状況だと思います。
The current situation we have, particularly in relation to the water spraying operation, water spraying operation, can be characterized as a fight against a fire that we cannot see. And currently, the fire is not spreading. It is not becoming worse. It is not aggravating. But whether we can say it has been brought under control, we would have to wait and see the outcome of the water spraying operations.
Thank you. It's also a question for Mr. Nishiyama. Tadiwa from CNN. The INES number, the levels raised from 4 to 5, you explained what your information is based on. But from the information you also provided later, it seems like things are becoming better in terms of water being sprayed into number 3 and water found in number 4. And so I'm a little puzzled. Based on these positive developments, why would you raise the level from 4 to 5? Because that is a more serious level, and some people think that's the equivalent of the 3 Mile Island incident in the United States. So could you explain a little why are you raising the level despite these progress? And also, if since you have raised the level, how much more concerned should people become? Does that affect the evacuation zone? Separately, I have a separate question about, we have read reports about NISA considering encasing the reactors in sand and concrete. Is that a plan you are considering, or is it a plan you are preparing for? We would like to have some clarification from Mr. Nishiyama. Thank
you. CNN ですけれども、西山さんに対して、質問があります。このイネスの評価数字を4から5のレベルに引き上げたということですけれども、でそれはどういった情報にのっとって、引き上げたかのご説明がありましたけれども、その後に、ご説明になった情報を見ますと、状況は以前よりも好転しているように思うんです。例えば3号機に水を放水することができたとか、あるいは4号機の水のレベルが改善したとか、状況は改善しているように見えるんですけれども、なぜそういうポジティブな前向きな改善に向けた動きがあるにもかかわらず、レベルを4から5というもっと深刻なレベルに引き上げたんでしょうか。で中には5のレベルというのはアメリカの3マイル島に等しいレベルと考える人も出てくると思うんですけれども、どうしていろいろと改善が見られ前進が見られるにもかかわらず、評価を4から5に上げたんでしょうか。で評価が4から5に上がったことによって、その関係する人々はどの程度対応が迫られるのか、すなわち例えば退避、している人々が退避勧告に影響が出てくるのでしょうか。それと生の報告で原子力保安院はencompass the vessel, what in concrete, which part in concrete? 特にですね、特におっしゃってなかったような気がする。全体はそんな何をとおっしゃってなかったような気がするんですけれども、コンクリでこう固めるということを考えているという報告が一部あったんですけれども、実際にそういったことをやることは計画されているんでしょうか。
まず第一のポイントについては、我々はこの5のレベルに上がりそうなその現象というのは、1号機については3月15日の午後以降にすでに起こっており、2号機3号機については3月17日以降に も起こっていたんですが、それがちょっと起こっていたというのはおかしいかな。その今の日付、以降ですね、以降それまでに起こっていたちょっと違う以降それまでに起こっていた現象が安定してきたので、その時点で、今安定してきたことについて、過去の現象を最も正確に評価したものです。
In response to your first point about what led us to raise the level from 4 to 5, the first it is based on past phenomena that had already occurred, but we are now reporting because we can now observe that phenomena which had already occurred has stabilized at that level. For instance, what had been occurring since the 15th of March for Unit 1, and what had been occurring starting from the 17th of March for Units 2 and 3, and those phenomena we can see has stabilized, and that is why we have reported on it.
2番目のポイントについては、今のような進展というのは、この事故の進展というのは、最初に十分考え、かつそれに余裕を持って避難の地域を設定していますので、新しいイバキュエーションは必要ないと考えています。現時点では考えています。
And in response to your second point, in the very beginning, when we set the region for giving out the evacuation notice, we had already at that point fully taken into consideration the developments regarding the incident that we see today. So since we had already taken into consideration ahead of time what is occurring now, there is no need for any new evacuation order or any expansion of the evacuation area.
だから最後の砂とかコンクリートが必要かどうかということですけれども、今我々がやるべきことは、まず、炉心を冷やすこと、それから、電気をサイトにきちんと通じさせること、それから、ポンプなどを修理して、冷却システムを再度確立すること、これらであると思っております。
And in response to your last point of whether we need or we are planning to use sand or concrete, I would say that what we should be doing at the moment is, first of all, to cool the reactor core, and also make sure to connect the site to electric power supply. And 3, to repair the pumps and be able to start up the cooling system once again.
最後のポンプのところは付け加えますと、新しく臨時のポンプを持ち込むということも十分あると思います。
And if I may just add one point regarding the last point about the pumps, I believe there is a very good possibility that we could bring in new emergency pumps.
で、砂やコンクリートを必要となった過去の、事故については歴史上の教訓として勉強はしていますけれども、現実的な選択とは考えていません。
And regarding past incidents in history which led to the need of using sand and concrete. We, of course, have studied these cases as a lesson that can be learned from history, but we did not regard that approach as a realistic option.
John Herskovitz from Reuters. So far we've been talking about hour by hour, day by day. I'm wondering how this is going to play out over the next few months. What are the objectives? To bring the heat down, then try to restore the facility, or just make it as safe as possible, remove as much radioactive material? And what are we looking at over the next 3 to 6 months at the Fukushima plant?
ロイターズですけれども、今までのお話は日々の出来事、あるいは時間ごとの出来事が中心だったんですけれども、さらにもう少し長い目でこれからの数ヶ月ぐらいを見通した場合にどういうふうな形になっていくとお考えでしょうか。すなわち何を目指して進んでいくのか。熱の水準を下げ、そしてこの施設を復旧し、できるだけ安全にするために放射性物質を取り除くということがこれから必要になってくるんだと思うんですけれども、これから3ヶ月あるいは半年後にその福島原子力発電所はどういう姿になっているんでしょうか。
まず前のご質問への答えと関係しますけれども、この熱を、崩壊熱ですね、これを取り除き、それから、電源を復旧させて、新しいその安定した冷却システムを確立することがまず重要です。
This is, in a sense, related to my response to the previous question, but I consider that what is important for us to do, first and foremost, is to remove the decay heat and also restore the power source and establish a new and stable cooling system.
その上で、各プラントのダメージも考えながら、どこを最初にまず復旧させていくかということを検討するんだろうと思います。
And after doing so, I would assume that we would be looking into which one to restore. I mean, which to restore first. Taking into consideration the damage that each unit has suffered.
A question for Mr. Nishiyama. Paul Ferguson from CNN. Sorry? There we go, closer. A question for Mr. Nishiyama. I'm Paul Ferguson from CNN. First, I'd like to thank you for this access. It's very helpful for us. The first question is the events of today with Unit 4 and Unit 3. Do you think there'll be some measures of success from this? Do you think you'll be able to quantify this with reduced radiation counts? The biggest today was 140 millisieverts. Will we see these go down as a result of today? And the second question is, on March 20th, when you hook up the electric, what do you think will? What are the odds of the cooling systems working once electric is restored? Are you confident in that? Thank you.
CNN のフェルカス、CNN ですけれども、西山さんに質問です。まず、このように会見をしてくださって、私どもにアクセスしてくださることは大変役立ちますので、感謝します。まず第一の質問は、本日の出来事、4号炉、3号炉に関する、いろいろな起こったことですけれども、その結果、 うまく成功して、そして定量的に放射能レベルの減少という形で結果が現れるとお思いでしょうか。で、本日の最高の放射線レベルが140ミリシーベルトでしたけれども、今日のいろいろな作業の結果、その放射能レベルが下がっていくとお考えでしょうか。それと3月20日に、壊れた電気系統が修復・復興した際には、復興しましたら、冷却装置がちゃんと機能をし始める可能性というのはどの程度あるとお考えでしょうか。電源が復興したら実際に冷却装置が復興する可能性どのぐらいとお考えでしょうか。
まず第一のポイントについては、放射性物質の量というのはこの、使用済み燃料プール3号4号の使用済み燃料プールからのみ影響を受けているわけではないので、その値だけではなかなかある程度離れた場所の放射性物質の量というのは、その両者における成功か失敗かだけではなかなか影響を受けにくいものかもしれないと思っています。
In response to your first point, the amount of radioactive material does not come only from the spent fuel storage pool of units 3 and 4. So it may be difficult to determine the level at a region that is to a certain degree away from the power plant just by the level of the spent fuel pool of units 3 and 4.
したがってこの、給水のオペレーションの成否を判断するには、もう少しいろいろなこれからのその観察をですね、終えてから判断する必要があると思います。
And accordingly, in order to determine the success or otherwise of the water spraying and water dropping operation that we have been undertaking, there would be a need to see the situation after making a variety of different observations.
それから3月20日に電気が通った後は、確かに今備えられているもの、ポンプとか、ポンプなどは動かない場合も十分あると思います。ただその時にはそれに代わるものを暫定的に新しく持ち込んで、とにかく安定的な冷却システムを確立するよう努めることになると思います。
And in response to your second question, it is true, as you have mentioned, that even after restoring the power supply on the 20th of March, it is fully possible that the pumps and other equipment that we now have in place may not function properly. And in that case, I believe that we would have to bring in tentatively equipment that would replace the ones that we have now on the ground to make sure that we will be able to establish a stable cooling system.
Hiroko Tabuchi, The New York Times. Some experts in the U.S. Have said that based on information provided to them by Japanese officials, that there is likely a crack or maybe a hole in the spent fuel pool at reactor number 4 and perhaps other spent fuel pools. What is the likelihood of this, and how would this affect your recovery effort? And related to this, there has been some criticism again among U.S. experts that Tokyo Electric perhaps diverted by perhaps because they focus so much on the reactors themselves initially, that they failed to see the dangers of the fuel, dangers posed by the fuel stored in the spent fuel pools. What would be your response to that? Thank you.
ニューヨークタイムズの田口と申します。アメリカの専門家の中には、日本の政府関係者から出された情報にのっとって考えると、第4号機の使用済み燃料貯蔵プールにおいて、亀裂あるいは穴が存在する可能性があるのではないか。第4号機およびその他使用済み燃料貯蔵プールにもひび割れとか穴がある可能性があるのではないかというのがアメリカの一部の専門家の意見なんですけれども、その可能性はどのぐらいあるんでしょうか。で、それがどのように復旧活動に影響を及ぼすとお考えでしょうか。で、これと関連質問ですけれども、やはり同様に一部のアメリカの専門家の間の批判として聞かれるのが、東京電力はあまりにもその炉そのものに目を向けすぎて、使用済み燃料の貯蔵プールがはらむ潜在的な危険性を見過ごしてきたんではないかと。見逃してきたんではないかという意見が一部のアメリカの専門家の間にあるんですけれども、それに関してはどのようにお考えでしょうか。
まず4号機の、使用済み燃料プールにはこれは先ほどレポートしましたけれども、若干不思議なことに水が十分入っているという、映像がありまして、それから東京電力の社員が目視、目でも確認をしています。
First of all, as I have reported to you earlier in my initial remarks, strangely, we have an image that shows that there is sufficient water in the spent fuel storage pool of reactor unit number 4. And the employees of TEPCO has actually confirmed this with their own eyes as well.
に従って今の段階では亀裂は4号機の使用済み燃料プールにはないのではないかと推測されますけれども、いずれにしても急いでその点検にかからなければいけないと思います。
And accordingly, at the current stage, I would suppose that there are no cracks in the spent fuel storage pool of Unit 4. But in any event, this is a matter that we need to inspect quickly.
それから、原子炉と使用済み燃料プールについては原子炉の方に先に問題が発見されたこともあって、そちらに、重点を置いて、取り組んだことは間違いがありません。でその間に使用済み燃料プールの方について何かできたかどうかということは、これから検証しなければいけないと思います。
And in response to your point about the reactor itself versus the spent fuel storage pool, due in part to the fact that the problem was found first with the reactor itself, it is true that attention was focused first on the reactor itself. And whether anything could have been done regarding the spent fuel storage pool during that period of time is a matter that we would have to study.
いずれにしてもアメリカの専門家がそういうふうに日本の、今の行動についていろいろコメントしてくれることはありがたいことだと思っております。
In any event, it is quite welcome, as far as we are concerned, to have these U.S. experts let us know about their views and comments regarding what we are now doing here in Japan.
Thanks, Dan Slater, The Economist Group. I'd be interested in hearing your views on why the core of these reactors is still so hot. We're now 7 days after the incident, yet coolant seems to be getting more important instead of less important. However, we know that the temperature goes down when the reactor is shut off by up to 95% in 1 hour. Is there perhaps a situation where the reactor was not fully shut off, or is there another explanation as to why we're still having this very serious heat problem? And if you could keep your answer short and non-technical, I'd be extremely grateful.
エコノミストグループのものですけれども、なぜ、炉心の温度がいまだにこんなに高いか、ご意見を伺いたいと思います。もう実際に停止してから7日も経っていて、そうしますと冷却の重要性というのは増すよりはむしろだんだん冷却の重要性というのは減ってくるはずなんですけれども、というのは炉心の温度というのは停止した後はどんどん下がっていって、だいたい最初の1時間で 95% は温度が下がると、熱が温度が下がるというふうに言われておりますので、もしかしたらいまだにこれだけの熱を持っているということは原子炉が十分に停止しなかったんではないかというような状況がもしかしてあるのか、それともいまだにこれだけ熱の深刻な問題が依然としてあるのはなんか他の説明ができるのかを伺いたいと思います。できるだけ簡潔にあまり技術的ではないお答えをお願いできればありがたいんですが。
まず原子炉は、きちんと地震によって止まりました。
First of all, the reactor has been totally shut down as a result of the earthquake.
だから崩壊熱というのは海の水を使って冷却しない限りかなり長い期間にわたって影響を及ぼします。
And unless we cool it by using seawater, decay heat continues to have an effect for a considerably long period of time.
したがって今はその海の水による冷却ができない状態で、いきなり炉心に一定の水を入れるというだけでそこの熱を逃す術がないので、自然に冷ますのに時間がかかっています。
And accordingly, since we currently face a situation where we are not able to cool it down by using seawater, but rather what we are now doing is to spray or supply a certain amount of seawater directly to the reactor core itself, whereas we have no way of releasing the heat that exists in there. It is taking quite some time until we can expect to have it naturally or spontaneously cool down.
Questions from foreign press. Okay, じゃあ
My name is Maria Yamaguchi of the Associated Press. Have you made any estimate of if there was any damage from the earthquake itself onto the facilities, and particularly at Unit 3 spent fuel storage pond, because of a rapid decline of water levels, considering the rapid decrease of the water levels in the pool? And another question is that after experiencing the quake and the tsunami of that magnitude, and that had not been anticipated when most of the nuclear power plants are built in Japan, do you think there's a need to evaluate the safety standards?
AP ですけれども、2つほど質問があります。まず第一の質問は、地震そのものから施設が被った破損に関して、推定といいますかはされましたでしょうか。特に3号機の使用済み燃料プールの水のレベルが下がっているということを考えた場合に、その地震の影響で破損があったのではないかということは検証されていますでしょうか。これが1点目。2点目は、日本で原子力発電所が建設される際に予想しなかったような規模の大きな地震と津波を今回経験したことによって安全基準の再評価が必要とお考えでしょうか。
まず最初の点については、我々の認識する限り今回の福島第一プラントについての損害は、大部分が津波、未経験の津波によるものです。
In response to your first question, to the extent that we are aware, most part of the damage that was experienced by Fukushima number 1 nuclear power generation plant was caused by the tsunami that was of a unprecedented level.
それで現時点までには地震そのもの、揺れによっての被害というのは3号機の使用済み燃料プールも含めて、あまり大きなものは観察されていません。
And at the current stage, including the spent fuel storage pool of unit number 3, we have not observed anything substantial in terms of the earthquake itself or the sway from the earthquake itself.
2番目のポイントは、日本の原子力発電所は、世界で最もおそらく耐震性に優れたものだと思いますけれども、今回それでも経験したことのない地震と、それから主に津波に見舞われて被害を出しました。
And in response to your second question, the Japanese nuclear power generation plants are equipped with a high level of earthquake-proof system that we excel in, and probably the best in the world. However, this time we have faced a earthquake, and in particular a tsunami that of a size that we have never experienced or anticipated, which has led to the damage that has been caused.
日本国民のこの電力に対する需要を満たすためにどうしても必要な原子力発電所について、こういう未経験の大きな問題が突きつけられている ので、これに対する、日本の対応というのはこれから先、大きな課題になるだろうと思います。
And since we are now faced with a very huge incident that we have never experienced up to now in relation to the nuclear power generation plants, that is quite essential for us to meet the electric power demand of the Japanese people, I must say that how we can deal with this issue would become a very important challenge for us going forward.
I'm Andrew Morse from the Wall Street Journal and Dow Jones Newswires. I'd like to ask, was an Article 15 notice ever issued for the loss of suppression at the number 3 unit? And Article 15s were issued for 1, 2, and 4, but there doesn't seem to be one for number 3. Why is that?
ウォール・ストリート・ジャーナル並びにダウ・ジョーンズ・ニュースのものですけれども、15条通報が1号機、2号機、4号機に関して行われたんですけれども、3号機のサプレッションの低下、圧力の低下に関して、15条通報が一度も行われていないように思うんですけれども、これはなぜなんでしょうか。
そうですね。ちょっとそれは今わからないようなので確認させていただきます。
Nobody seems to know the reason why, so we will check on that and come back to you. 後で差し上げますので、後でじゃあお願いします。
Hi, this is Kosaku Narioka, and I am with Dow Jones Newswires. How many countries and international agencies have sent nuclear experts to Japan? And how many has arrived? And how many of them went into the site already?
ダウジョーンズニュースですけれども、日本に原子力の専門家を派遣した国は何カ国、そして国際機関はいくつあるんでしょうか。そして、もう実際に日本に到着しているそういった原子力の専門家は何人いて、実際に福島の現場に、入っている人は何人いるんでしょうか。
まず協力の申し出、サポートの申し出は例えば IAEA とか、国際機関の IAEA とかアメリカの NRC とか、その他の国々からも、多くいただいております。
First of all, we have received many offers for support, assistance, and cooperation from, for instance, the IAEA among the international agencies, also from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC of the United States, and many other countries.
それで今全体で何人ぐらいの方が来ているかというのはちょっと全体像は正確には分かりませんけれども、全部でそうですね20人とかそのくらいのオーダーじゃないかと思いますけれども。
And in response to your question of how many nuclear experts are here in Japan, I don't know the overall picture, so I would not be able to tell you exactly, but I would presume in total it would be in the order of 20 or so people.
だから福島に行かれている方はまだいないのではないかと思います。
And I would assume that there are not yet any such nuclear experts that are on the site in Fukushima. Not yet.
それから前の方のご質問で15条通報は3号機についても3月14日に行われておりました。
And also going back to the question for the previous questioner, the Article 15 notice has been lodged for Unit 3 also on the 14th of March. というか2日遅れということですね、他に比べて。他よりも2日後ということですね。
そうです。
Yes, that's right.
Let me just add that I guess Mr. Amano brought with him some nuclear experts, and according to the announcement made by IAEA, I guess this is experts of 4 persons who are mainly experts of measurement of radioactivity.
Thank you, Khaldun Asari, Panoramic News. I have a small question for Mr. Kato. Did you notice any effect on the life or wildlife or plants in the area of the 30 kilometers zone? I mean, the wildlife or the products that cows or something that produce milk or products for the people to eat. Are you also studying the effect on this category so you can protect the health more in the future? Thank you.
Your affiliation, please. ワイルドオリエントニュースですけれども、加藤さんに質問があります。30キロ圏内における野生動物、あるいは植物、あるいは乳牛とかそういった乳牛が生産するミルクとか、そういった人々が口に入れるようなもので30キロ圏内で生産されているものに対する影響というのは調べていらっしゃるんでしょうか。その影響を調べて人々の健康を守れるように調査とかはなさっているんでしょうか。
はい、お尋ねの点ですけれども、私どもが現在やっているのは発電所の周辺20キロから外の、空間中の放射線のモニタリングということであります。
In response to that question, what we are now doing is monitoring the level of radio activity within the atmosphere, within the atmosphere in the region that is within a radius of 20 kilometers from the site.
それから最初申し上げたことの3点目のその日本全国についてタップウォーター、それからフォローアウトについて毎日分析していただくということですけれども、実は日本全国でのこういったタップウォーター、フォローアウトの分析、それからガンマレイドーズレートの測定、これは実は1960年代の最初の頃から日本では行っております。
And as I mentioned in the third point I mentioned in my initial remarks, we are having an analysis done every day for tap water and fallout throughout Japan. And in Japan, already from the beginning of the 1960s, we have been analyzing the tap water and fallout throughout Japan, and we have also been measuring and monitoring the gamma ray dose rate.
したがってその60年代初めの頃はこういった測定分析を非常に頻繁に行っていたわけですけども、その後そのテストバントリーティができて大気圏内の核実験が減ってからは特にそのタップウォーターとフォローアウトの分析についてはタップウォーターは月に1回、フォローアウトについてはレインフォールのたびに行うというふうに運用してきてました。今回はプリコーションとしてその頻度を上げるということです。
And during at the beginning of the 1960s, we used to be measuring and analyzing these elements much more frequently. Since, however, the nuclear test ban treaty went into force, and there was a decline in nuclear testing in the atmosphere, we have administered these measurements less frequently at a rate of once a month for analysis of tap water, and at the time of every rainfall for fallouts. But this time, as a precaution, we will be increasing the frequency of the monitoring.
Let me just supplement additional aspects related to announcement by Food Safety Commission. And they have issued announcement already that in order to preserve safety of food, they, based on the guidelines of Nuclear Safety Commission, they and based on the food sanitary law, they instructed or they informed municipalities that the food items, that could be exposed to radiation would not be brought to the tables.
Oh, is that okay? Can I? Christie, freelance journalist. In view of the fact that many of the foreign embassies have removed their staffs to consulates in the Kansai area, and the U.S. State Department has issued a warning for U.S. citizens to evacuate further than the Japanese government 20 kilometers. Is there any plans by the Prime Minister's office to have NHK give more detailed information about fallout areas, and especially the Tokyo area with a high population concentration? Are there any plans along that line? Thank you.
フリーランスのジャーナリストですけれども、外国の大使館の多くが領事業務職員などを関西地域に移動させていることに鑑み、並びにアメリカの国務省が自国民に対して日本政府が示している避難地域よりも広い避難地域に避難するよう警告を出していることに鑑み、内閣府かな、首相府としては NHK でそのフォールアウトに関するもっと詳細な情報を流す予定はあるのでしょうか。特に東京のように人口密度が高い地域に関するフォールアウトに関して NHK などテレビでもっとより詳細な情報を流す予定は終わりでしょうか。
Well, we know that different governments have issued their own guidelines or travel alerts in terms of their citizens living in Japan or visiting our country. And at the end of the day, this is the measures that would be taken in terms of protecting the individual government's citizens. And this is the decision that we would not be, be interfering into. And we generally think that, given the fact that the respective governments are following the situation in Japan from abroad, those governments tend to take more conservative decisions. Having said that, we are trying to make to be transparent in terms of radioactivity level, and this is something that Mr. Kato would be able to explain. But before getting into that, we think that, for example, all of us staying here in Tokyo probably decided to stay in Tokyo, and I personally don't feel that there is significant risks associated with radiation living in Tokyo or Kanto area.
はい、今日何度か申し上げましたけども、日本全国の各都道府県について、空間のガンマ線の線量、それから水道水、フォールアウトについて毎日、分析をして、その結果をマスメディアにお流しするとともに、文部科学省のホームページにアップします。
As I have already mentioned a number of times during this meeting today, in all of the prefectures in Japan, we will be analyzing every day the gamma ray dose level in the atmosphere, as well as the tap water and fallout. And the results will be made available to the mass media and will also be carried in the website of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, and Science.
I have one correction regarding the gentleman's question, which is Article 15 report regarding Unit 3 of Fukushima Daiichi plant. Actually, as you can see from this chart, there were two Article 15 reports regarding Unit 3 on March 13th and 14th. So that's my correction.